What's up, Bulls Nation? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be discussing what is wrong with the offensive end for the Chicago Bulls. Now, at the end of the day, our highest points tally in a game was against the Indiana Pacers, where we scored 112 points, and that is actually a very decent scoreline. In all fairness, it's usually about the average that teams can get to. But since then, after then, 105 points, I believe, in this game against Dallas. A couple of games where we scored 104 points. And it's just not looking good on this side of the ball at the moment for the Chicago Bulls. The defensive side, it's its own issues. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes our game plans don't work. But what is wrong with the offensive end for the Chicago Bulls? Let's discuss it in this video. Before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and the offensive end of, I guess, this Bulls team. What's wrong with it and how can it be improved? Now, the first answer is actually something that I think is very obvious, but people might not actually remember it that much because games come and go. You often forget how people play in different positions and stuff like that, and how teams play in preseason compared to the regular season. But this Bulls offense looks nowhere near the same page, nowhere near the same style as it did in preseason. I encourage you guys, please, if you have the time, or if you have League Pass especially, go look back at the preseason games for the Chicago Bulls and go watch one of them. And I know the offense wasn't really perfect there either. Don't watch the Raptors one, because that one was pretty much exactly what we see now. But go watch any of the other ones. Go watch the game against Milwaukee. Go watch the games against Denver. Go watch the games against the Timberwolves even, where we got blown out of proportion there. But the offense looked more passing orientated, and I feel like with the Chicago Bulls now, we've kind of gotten a little bit away from the passing orientated team for the most part, where we're dishing it out to the corners and we're moving the ball and the players are moving, to looking at this offense now as pick and roll offense. Pick and roll to Vooch for a floater, pick and roll attack the lane, pick and roll dish it out to the corner. It's a lot of pick and roll for the Chicago Bulls, whereas there was some pick and roll in preseason, but the ball was moving a lot faster, a lot quicker, and better than currently the way that it is. So this is a message for all the Chicago Bulls fans out there, that just because you see something in preseason doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come to life in the regular season. And there's still a lot of work to be done to get that style of play back and better than where it was before. So that's the first thing. The second thing, very, very clear. There's a lot of lack of player movement in this team. Players are not moving. I think we're falling. This is crazy to say, considering we didn't shoot enough threes last year, but I think Bulls players are content at just sitting in the corner and shooting threes instead of actually attacking the basket. And you saw today against Dallas, you saw even against the Pacers, we are at our best when we are attacking the paints. Now, I'm not saying don't shoot threes. It's quite the opposite. I want the Bulls to shoot threes. That was a big problem, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite about that. How can anyone say that we don't shoot enough threes last season to now complaining that we're shooting too many threes? That's not the problem. I think the problem is the stagnation in our movement, and therefore it's not creating good shots from the paint or from the three-point line. If you have cuts, guess what happens? Let's just say Torrey Craig cuts to the paint. You know what happens? The defense crumbles because there's a clear open guy in the paint. They're not going to want to give an easy layup like that. That's not their game plan. So when defenses collapse, the corners become available for players to have their shots. I think player movement will improve our three-point shooting and will improve our paint production, which is where we're clearly the strongest. So again, I think that's another key issue there for the Chicago Bulls. The fact that we don't move as a team is ridiculous. The fact that all we see constantly is pick and rolls, dishing it out to the corners, just moving from corner to corner and stuff like that with no movement whatsoever really, unless you're the ball handler. That has to change in my opinion. Not every backdoor cut is going to work. I agree with that. Not every movement is going to come with success. I agree with that. But not seeing any movement at all doesn't even give you a chance to succeed more times than not. So that's another area that I feel the Chicago Bulls need to improve on. Let's go with number 3, efficiency. The big three especially, I think the efficiency of the big three is a bit lackluster. The beginning of the season, Vucevic, struggling from the field, struggling to get the ball, struggling efficiency-wise. Yes, he's had 2 great games in this week, which is fantastic, and I hope that can continue, but he struggled at the beginning of the season. Zach LaVine, outside of the 51-point performance, there's arguability of his consistency. He's not consistent enough. And those are struggling things for Zach LaVine. DeMar DeRozan in this game, you saw it for the first half, was ridiculously inefficient. I think DeMar DeRozan has been inefficient all season. So these things stand out to me as big problems for the Chicago Bulls. The inefficiencies of the big three, especially when two of them are inefficient in one game, or even one of them struggles while two of them are trying to carry the load. Those are big problems for the Chicago Bulls. It's hard to find the consistency of the big three altogether. And that has been the same problem we've seen for the past 2 years as well, where the big three doesn't seem to play well together. So there's another area of improvement I think we need to find, if we can find those improvements. But looking at the positives of the offensive end, because I know we're talking about what's wrong, I think the Bulls have done a better job getting to the foul line. And that's always been a problem for the Bulls. I think every season you see people complaining about the refs and how the refs are always against us and how the refs don't give us free throws and stuff of that nature. We are now 5 games into this season, and not one person in my comment section at least has complained about the refs not giving us free throws, or has not complained about the refs not giving us foul calls. Now, it will happen eventually. It happens to every team. But the Bulls are getting to the line. And I like to see it, and I want to see more of it in the future. And another key issue as well is that you're starting guys like Patrick Williams that has 0 points in some of these games. Even Kobe White has been struggling sometimes. And again, those are frustrating parts because, look, if the big three are inefficient or the big three are having bad games, you need guys like Kobe White to step up. You need guys like Patrick Williams to step up. And I don't think we're seeing that enough, especially from Patrick Williams. So there are a bunch of reasons why the offense is stagnant and struggling. It's a struggle to get past 110 points for us. And that's pretty much the average, 110 points. People expect that from most of their teams every single game. And although we're doing okay on the defensive end, the offense is really letting us down. And I can't believe I'm saying that when you have Zach LaVine that scores 23 points per game, DeMar DeRozan scoring 24 points per game, Vucevic scoring 17 points per game, and our offense still struggles. It's crazy to think about that, but that's in the situation we are in. The Bulls got to find a way to fix it. What are your guys' thoughts on the game? Thank you all so much for watching. Drop a like and a follow or subscribe if you are new. I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls related video. Or what are your thoughts on the offensive end? My apologies. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.